Hey, Pokedad Fan Club, it's me, Pokedad, and we're bringing you a different deck today. Duskmane Garb. It seems like Duskmane has kind of been pushed to the side because of Malamar and regular Necrozma and Dawnwing's Necrozma and Ultra Necrozma. But there was, I believe it was the South American Regional, where there was a list where Duskmane Garb did well. So we're gonna take that list out. I made a couple card changes to it, either because I didn't have the cards or I needed, or I just thought something else would be better. But anyway, let's get right into this video. So we're starting with the baby Duskmane, and I actually think that this is kind of like the star of the show, the MVP of the deck, because it gives you another attacker instead of Registeel, who's going to hit for a whopping 30 damage. This thing can kind of start sniping stuff, and sometimes can take KOs with 3 or 4 snipes because it's so tanky. So anyway, it looks like we're going up against Buzzwole, and when I see a mysterious treasure, that usually means that it's probably Buzzwole Garb, and indeed it is. So we've got Trubbish coming down, it looks like, and a Floatstone on the Trubbish, and Cynthia. So he's going to try to get the ability lock up as quickly as possible. However, we're not really too concerned about that because we play ability lock ourselves, so it's not a big deal to us. We top deck Max Elixir. Unfortunately, we don't have anything on the bench. I'm gonna just Cynthia here because I don't want to sycamore all those good resources away. We get Trubbish, and we get Duskmane Necrozma, and we're just gonna Dusk Shot here, and we'll just Dusk Shot the active because it is the biggest threat right now on the board, and we'll hit it for 60. Alright, we're kind of in a dead draw right now, which is unfortunate. Maybe we'll see an end, maybe we top deck something. If he doesn't get the Garbotoxin locked down, we can use an Ultra Ball to get a Lele. We get Registeel, so I guess we'll bench Registeel here. Yeah, and I'm kind of debating. I'm not sure if he really needs to come down or not, but I guess we would like to have an attacker if this baby Duskmane goes down. So we'll attach an energy to the Duskmane Necrozma GX, and we'll Dusk Shot again. And in a way, it's kind of like our own little Jet Punch, you know, except we're doing a little bit more and we're not hitting the bench. But we're just slowly poking at this Buzzwole, and maybe we can get a knockout next turn if we hit top deck a Fighting Fury Belt, or maybe we'll poke again somewhere else. It also depends on if the Duskmane, baby Duskmane, does survive, but it's he gets a Guzma off the random receiver, so maybe he's kind of dead drawing too. And he actually Guzmas up the Duskmane Necrozma GX, and we get a Guzma back. So now we're just playing Guzma tag, I guess you could say. And so we'll bring up the Buzzwole that has no energy on it, because if he's in a dead draw and we're in a dead draw, maybe we can take some prizes. I went ahead and attached to Registeel there, and I think it's because if the baby Duskmane goes down, I don't have a Duskmane GX ready to go, and so Registeel will at least be able to do some chip damage and continue to help, you know, work on the bench. So he ends us, and so we're both getting nice new hand of 6, and so therefore we are at least in a better position now. He does Jet Punch again, but again that's just doing 30-30, no big damage to us, and we can actually take a knockout with the baby Duskmane now. But he did get Garbotoxin down, so we don't have abilities anymore. I'm looking at his item cards because he's played 4 already. I can go ahead and get the Garbotoxin online, and then maybe it'll bait him into knocking that out with a Knuckle Impact, or if not, maybe in the late game we can take a clean KO with it. And we don't really care about getting the Garbotoxin online now because we'll go ahead and bench the Trubbish, but it's not super important for us to get Garbotoxin because we're both ability locked already anyway. And so we get a nice Sycamore for 7, so let's give ourselves a high five. And I guess looking again at those items, so there's 4 items, so 4 times 40 is only 160, so we're not knocking anything out yet. We need one more item in the discard for our opponent to be able to hit with Garbotoxin. So we'll go ahead and use this Max Elixir, and it fails, which is a shame because we're really not getting a lot in play right now. And it looks like we don't have a draw supporter for next turn, so we're going to go ahead and Dusk Shot here and take 2 prizes. Hopefully we'll draw something off of the prizes. Looks like a Guzma and a Floatstone. So nothing too important here. So he Guzmas up that Garbotoxin, or Trash Lanch. He's scared of it, and he GXs it. So, wow, he used the GX on a 1 prize attacker. Now, granted, I'd like to have had that Garbotoxin, Trash Lanch, sorry, in play. But I'm not too sad because he wasted his GX on that. And now I go ahead and get my Garbotoxin online, so we're both, so that if for some reason he does get out of the ability lock, or if he plays a Floatstone or something like, Field Blower, and he can't get out of the, he'd have to Field Blower his Floatstone and mine. So use Turbo Arm to put 30 damage on that Buzzwole GX, and we put another energy on our Duskmane GX. So 1 more energy in that Duskmane can then Meteor Tempest and can do 230 damage. So we see Order Pad, and we see a Heads there. It's a Fighting Fury Belt. However, I'm not sure I agree with this play because Meteor Tempest is doing 220, and then with my Fighting Fury Belt does 230. So I guess he wants it for the extra 10 damage. But I think it's kind of a sketchy play. I don't think it really helped him too much. It put 60 damage on my Registeel because he Jet Punched here. But I feel like we can just go ahead and on prizes right here, taking a knockout on this Buzzwole. And it again looks like my opponent's kind of in a dead draw again. So we'll retreat into the Duskmane Necrozma, and we will set up for a Meteor Tempest, and we'll do 230 damage there. taking a knock out on the Buzzwole. And we again don't have a draw supporter either, so this has been kind of a grindy match, and we don't really pick up anything that's important to us. I do expect the Dusk main to go down this turn, but maybe we can use the Solgaleo Prism Star to get energy back on the board and force him to have to go through a bunch of these little Pokemon instead of a GX. But no, he doesn't have all he can do is Jet Punch here, so the Duskmane Necrozma is still surviving. So we'll attach an energy to this Solgaleo Prism Star, and we'll attach we'll hold the Float Stone. Maybe we'll attach it next turn. I don't know. I was thinking about playing around in, but the thing is our opponent only has 2 cards and has been dead drawing, so it seems like it would be better off to not play the Float Stone, and then we can attach it maybe somewhere else later, because maybe we see a Field Blower play or something along those lines. So yeah, we'll bring up the baby Buzzwole, and the reason why I bring up the baby Buzzwole here is because it would force him to have to Guzma back, and if he just retreats the baby Buzzwole, then he's gonna put himself in position to get knocked out by the Duskmane Necrozma anyway, and I'm kind of baiting him here, kind of hoping that he'll just come in and Jet Punch and not think that I can retreat the Solgaleo Prism Star, and then he'll just take some knockouts that way, and so maybe that will work. So let's see what my opponent does. And so he's only got 3 cards. He's got 2 Guzmas left, so he could potentially still Guzma here. Guzma is probably the right play. He does Guzma, but he Guzmas the Duskmane, baby Duskmane, and he doesn't do anything. And we top deck energy, so we can just attach and manually retreat. And so I give the opponent a well played, because that is game. That Solgaleo Prism Star did work. The Duskmane Necrozma, the baby, did work. The Registeel did work. And so everybody, it was a team effort there. And those Fighting Fury Belts really came in clutch. And one thing I'm just noticing in overall, generally right now, is that many decks are moving away from Choice Band and playing Fighting Fury Belt more often, and I'm seeing that is having a positive effect, especially against Buzzwole. It seems like many times it's giving them enough buff of HP so that they survive all the Jet Punches, and once they get past their GX, Knuckle Impact isn't quite as strong. And so you can oftentimes just survive, and I think it's Fighting Fury Belt's giving Buzzwole trouble. So I'm seeing a shift, and maybe it'll be more pronounced as we go through the rest of this month and into more cups. But I think we'll see a shift away from Choice Bands and more toward Fighting Fury Belts, at least for some decks. And in this deck it makes perfect sense, obviously. Alright, so now looks like we're going to go against a Malamar and Ultra Necrozma. So first of all, we take on Buzzwole. Now let's see how well we can do against Malamar and Ultra Necrozma. And we win the coin flip, so we'll go first. Maybe we can hit several max elixirs and get going right away. Get us a couple Duskmane started. But we start with a Duskmane Necrozma GX, and that can be a problem. So let's see. Our opponent starts with a Mew and an Inkay. Now I have a lot of debate right here. This hand is really kind of it's just a difficult hand to really deal with, and I really debated about playing the Fighting Fury Belt there, and I'm still not sure that it's the right play. The only reason why I did is because I have the Guzma in hand, so I can get out of the active next turn if I need to. So my thinking is I'll go ahead and Lily here, get 6 new cards, and then hopefully we'll have something that we can Guzma into that will be useful, whether it be the baby Duskmane, whether it be Registeel, or even Solgaleo Prism Star could be okay. It's not the greatest, but it could at least take a hit for us, maybe. So we do indeed hit the baby Duskmane. The problem here is we don't have energy, and then if we top deck energy, then the Guzma play will be okay, I think. But at the same time, I think we want to go ahead and start getting Garbotoxin set up, because once these Malamars start coming down, if we don't have Garbotoxin set up, we are going to be in a world of hurt. Now my opponent Lele's for Lily here, so that must tell me that he can bring his hand down pretty low. And indeed he Ultra Balls a Malamar, and it looks like a Metal Energy away. He gets a Dawn Wings Necrozma, benches the Dawn Wings, plays a Float Stone on the Dawn Wings, Super Rods the Malamar and the Metal back into the deck, which makes sense. And a Lily for 8, so I don't know what we do for a Lily for 8. I always said if someone did a Lily for 8, I thought that was worth a headbutt, but I don't know if that I don't know how many people would go for that. Anyway, so actually that reminds me, while we're waiting on our opponent, I want to ask you guys a question of the day, and put your answer in the comments below. What is your favorite Pokemon TCG card from the Sun and Moon era? So from basically Sun and Moon base set to Forbidden Light, what is your favorite TCG card? So put that in the comments below. I'd love to see what kind of responses I get to that. Anyway, so we Cynthia here, we attach an energy, and I do think that I'm going to go ahead and Ultra Ball the unit energy and the Beast Ring away, so that we can get the Garbotoxin online next turn, because if we don't, we're going to be in a world of hurt against this Malamar deck. So we get the Trubbish down, and again we'll hold the Float Stone. We don't know if they have Field Blower, but maybe they have to Sycamore it away or something this turn, and so maybe we'll get lucky. Or if they Guzma something, we can at least still have a way to retreat it. This deck has got a bunch of heavy retreaters, so we have to play a lot of Float Stones. We'll play 4 in the deck, just so that we make sure that we can retreat when we need to. Ideally, I probably would have put a Float Stone on this Duskmane Necrozma. Ooh, he Sycamores, 2 Sycamores and a Guzma away. That's a tough Sycamore. Ideally, though, I would have liked to put a Float Stone on the Duskmane Necrozma and retreat it out. But instead, at this point, we're committed to just using Claw Slash next turn. And it looks like I thought maybe my opponent would attack with Dawnwing's Necrozma, but it looks like they're powering up Lele, so I'm not sure how I feel about that. I guess they're scared of the Meteor Tempest, and maybe what they're thinking is that next turn they could potentially, if I'm somehow able to knock out the Lele, then they can power up the Dawnwings and use the GX attack. And so they're just going to Energy Drive here for 80. I think maybe they should, I'm not really sure what the right play there is, but we're just going to Sycamore here because we want to get Garbotoxin, and we know that they just threw several of their draw supporters out. So it feels like, that's kind of what we want to do, is try to reach for the Garbotoxin, and indeed we found the Garbotoxin. Now I made a misplay right here, and I'm for new players, this is the kind of thing that you want to avoid. I probably should have played that Lele down and gotten another draw supporter, a different one like another Sycamore, because if our opponent's hand is stuck, we definitely don't want to play the end. So it probably would have been a good idea to go ahead and play that Lele down. However, our opponent ends for us, so I wasn't punished in spite of that, and so I didn't have to end him. He ended me and gave me a new hand of 6, which is great. And even if he uses another energy, the energy drive would do 120, but I would still have 30 HP left unless he hits Field Blower. But he just energy drives for 100 here, so I'm still, even without the Field Blower, I'm still alive. Or even with the Field Blower, I'm still alive, I should say. We'll go ahead and play the Elixir here, and it does hit. So we'll go ahead and get another Dusk main Necrozma powered up, and we'll attach to the active. And our idea here is we want to Guzma the Dawnwings. And I don't want to Parallel City here, I don't think. And I hold the Field Blower too, because they might play something else down that will have another tool on it. So we'll just take a knockout, Meteor Tempest on the Dawnwings Necrozma, and we finally take our first 2 prizes. It's been we literally attached to that Necrozma 4 turns in a row. But fortunately, because Garbotoxin in effect, it gave us the time to be able to do that. So we now see an Ultra Necrozma come down. If maybe there's a way we can take a knockout on it. We see a Floatstone indeed come down, and then a Cynthia. And so we see 3 Malamars. Certainly they had to hit their Field Blower by now, right? We see an Energy Drive for the knockout. But no, they haven't hit their Field Blower, so Garbotoxin is still in effect. So, what we can do is, while we're still getting powered up, we can do a little cheeky play. First of all, we can play the Parallel down because we don't want Tapu Lele on the bench. Because otherwise it just discard the Tapu Lele and heal all the damage off. So he's going to have to get rid of a Malamar and probably the Mew if I had to guess. And yes, indeed. So he's still got 2 Malamars and an Ultra Necrozma. We're going to play the Field Blower. And now we'll Field Blow both of those Float Stones off. So that's their 3rd Float Stone. So if they're some of these decks are only playing 3, some are playing 4. So now it's going to be difficult for them to maneuver. And now we're going to just bring up the Malamar. We're going to put Baby Duskmane up, and we're just going to start hitting that Lele on the bench. I love this card. It's so good. And then in the same time, we'll go ahead and continue to get the Duskmane Necrozma GX powered up. So we hit that Lele for another 60. And next turn we've got Sycamore, so we've got a solid hand. And we see an Necrozma. So what is our opponent going to do? Oh, they don't like that Garbotoxin, so they are going to get rid of that Garbotoxin. In a way, I'm okay with this. They do go ahead on prizes, but now I can take a knockout on the Lele and still continue to get the Duskmane powered up. So attach another energy to the Duskmane, attach the Fighting Fury Belt, and then a Sycamore for a clean 7. So another high 5 there. And we don't have too much after that. Maybe we should put another attacker on the field. So we've got Ultra Ball and and I think a Trubbish is good here so that we can threaten Garbotoxin. I'm not Garbo. Why do I get those confused? Sorry, Trashlanch. We can threaten Trashlanch, and Trashlanch could potentially take a knockout because they've used a lot of items. It's getting kind of late in the game. We're down to just a few prizes still, and so I think there's a good chance that we could just use Trashlanch to finish the game off. So we see a Fighting Fury Belt come down. We see a Professor's Letter. Now, for once, they're going to have the Malamars to be able to do Psychic Recharge. But really, at this point, if we don't see an N, all I've got to do is attach energy to Duskmane GX and take another Meteor Tempest knockout, and that'll be game. We do see an N though, so alright, so we've got two, we get 2 cards, our opponent gets 3. Our opponent played this well, but we still end up with an energy. He uses Sky Scorching Light GX, does 60 damage. I'm not really sure why, but we'll give them a well played and let them know that they did a good job. And we'll retreat into the Duskmane GX and we'll Meteor Tempest for the game. So anyway, guys, you know, this Duskmane Garb, I don't know, it seems like it might be viable. Now, I was playing against Buzzwole Garb. I'm not really sure how it would play against the 3 baby Buzzwole or, you know, just a traditional Buzzrock. But, you know, it seems so far seems pretty good. So anyway, guys, I'll show you the list in just a moment. But anyway, you can see that baby Duskmane can put in a lot of work, and it's also kind of tanky, so it can actually, you know, take a few hits before it goes down. So I really like it. It's really good. All right, so we will get right to that list, and this is the list that was very similar to the one at I believe it was a South American regional, and you can see it uses one Duskmane Baby Duskmane, and then I play only 3 of the Duskmane GXs. Then you got Registeel and Solgaleo. You got a 2/2 line of Garbotoxin, and then you got the extra Trash Lance, so if you need to use it. The energy counts are 10 metal energy and 2 of the unit energy. So anyway, take a screenshot of that if you're interested. Try it out, it's pretty fun. I will say it's a little bit more difficult to pilot than other traditional decks like Malamar or even Buzzwole. There's a lot that you have to there's a lot more skill involved to pilot that deck. Anyway, Pokedad Fan Club, thanks again for watching. Hit that like button, it really helps out the channel. If you haven't subscribed, think about doing that, and please leave comments. I read all the comments and I try to respond to as many as I can, so I'd love to hear some from you. What your thoughts on this deck are, or if there's a deck that you'd like me to play, I can I'll see about putting it in my list of decks to go over. Anyway guys, this is Pokedad signing off. We'll talk to you later. Bye.